rented school and community. The Community Church of Washington Terrace was organized January 16, 1947, with 77 charter members. In June of 1948, a woman pastor, Reverend Augusta Jackley, was appointed to serve the next 4 years. Washington Terrace incorporated as a city, and the homes were eventually moved to new foundations and remodeled. We were meeting in an abandoned recreation building. A building fund campaign raised $5,000 to purchase a building west of Washington Terrace. It served as a parsonage and as a church. We decided to affiliate with a major denomination, and a forum was presented by 4 pastors. At this time, we voted on this ballot whether to become Baptist, Methodist, Presbyterian, or Congregational. The Methodist Church won by 2 votes. Reverend Glenn Hamlin was appointed here as the first Methodist minister. This was a time of growth for the church and also for the country. In 1953, the average income was $4,000. A new car was $1,600. New house, $9,500. A loaf of bread, 16 cents. Gas, 20 cents a gallon. And milk, 94 cents a gallon. The congregation also had a dream of building their own building, and in 1955, we embarked on raising $5,000 to purchase land. The youth organized a Mile of Dimes campaign to help raise these funds, and the adults sold goodwill shares towards purchasing 3 acres of land on 4800 South. In October of that year, ground was broken and the building began. On a snowy Sunday, the cornerstone laying ceremony was held in the building without a floor or roof, but no walls. The service was brief as the snow was blowing through the building, and they were worried that they would ruin the piano they had borrowed from the mortuary. The church was soon completed and officially opened as a house of worship. Our own Harold Knox was the general contractor of the building, which was built entirely of volunteer labor, including the handmade pews. The Reverend William Bowden became pastor when Reverend Hamlin was transferred to Salt Lake City. The congregation enjoyed many social activities during this time, including a buffalo barbecue. And ice cream socials were also a favorite. In 1960, Robert Spears became pastor. During this time, we purchased one of the remodeled homes as a parsonage, and it is still used by our pastoral family today. Before long, the Sunday school was bursting at the seams. We were even using the kitchen as a classroom. During that summer, Henry So of Indonesia worked at the church. He was studying to be a pastor. Doug Bale served as pastor from 1964 to 1965. Reverend Jim Smith served from 1965 to 1970. During the early 70s, Reverend John Blinn became our pastor. He was more casual than his predecessors, almost hippie-like, but we learned to love him. Bill Bruce, young first-year pastor, continued the 70s style of worship. In 1976, Don Hebert accepted the call and became the pastor for almost 10 years. This was a time of change and much growth. The congregation once again embarked on a new exciting adventure, building a new sanctuary with 300 seats at a cost of $200,000. After several delays due to financing and bad weather, construction started in November of 1980, and the first worship service was held in September of 1981. We also held the first wedding in the summer of '81 before the windows were in place. What a wonderful, exciting time this was as we enjoyed our new building and many new members. In 1987, Reverend Hebert transferred to Colorado, and Reverend Phil Tarman arrived just in time to become involved with an enthusiastic congregation ready to begin a capital stewardship campaign to build a new fellowship hall, Sunday school rooms, staff offices, and space to house the family counseling service. This was our Thanksgiving dinner that year, and we were scattered all over the church, in the basement, in the classrooms, and in the 2 Sunday school rooms that we used to call Fellowship Hall. We were even on the stairs. This was a happy, cold Sunday when we had our groundbreaking ceremony. Keith and Nancy Regal were the chairpersons of our stewardship campaign, and they turned the first spade of dirt to start our new building. It was such a cold day that earlier that morning some of the men had been out with a blowtorch trying to dry the ground out enough or thaw it out so that we could turn the dirt. Ray and Alice Hendricks also took their turn. Tony Hanebrink was the director of the family counseling service, which would be housed in our church, and so he was representing the family counseling service that day. Representing the youth, Josh Bernard, Carl Olson, and Jean Libby took their turn. Our spirits were as high as the balloons that we released that day. This is our groundbreaking dinner following the groundbreaking services. And once again, we are crowded into the Sunday school rooms, upstairs, downstairs, and on the stairs, anywhere we could find a place to sit. Finally, the building began. It was such fun watching the new structure being built. And at last, we held our first Thanksgiving dinner in the new facility, all together. In 1991, Reverend Wes Pixler and his new wife Denise and their combined family moved into the parsonage to begin their ministry at CUMC. This is our welcoming ceremony for Reverend Pixler. Our church has always served the community at large. We house Wesley Academy Preschool and Daycare in our facility. This is a tremendous outreach for the children and their parents. We also sponsor several Boy and Girl Scout troops, AA, Habitat for Humanity, and many other groups that have used our facilities over the years. Many wonderful people have sacrificed, worked, shared, and prayed and dreamed to see this church through 50 years. Let's remember some of them now. From a group of believers on a sandy hillside in 1943, from rotating pastors to our pastor and staff of 10, from 77 charter members in 1947 to a membership of 400 today. Many people, places, and things are but memories passed into history, but this church will continue to grow for years. With the same spirit as those early believers and as God's people go into a new century, following God's call, dreaming dreams, and working and sacrificing to see them come true for future generations. Congratulations, Community United Methodist Church. on 50 years of ministry.